So this is my new to me 1997 F250 7.3 liter Power Stroke. I am very excited that I get to work on this truck. I have wanted an OBS Aero Nose Power Stroke for a long time. This will be the first ever Power Stroke that I have worked on. Now, I've worked on a number of other diesels, especially Cummins. I've essentially owned every single 5.9 liter Cummins ever made, from the first gen VE pump 12 valves all the way up to the last model of the 5.9 common rail trucks. And I've really liked those trucks. That's where my upbringing was, when I really learned how to take motors apart, take trucks apart, fix stuff that was broken, put it back together just a little bit nicer than when I found it. So I'm really excited to be able to get my hands on an old OBS Power Stroke and really see what I can do. I've had a bunch of friends who've worked on a lot of these old Ford diesels, all the way back from a 6.9 IDI up to the current 6.7 Power Stroke and the high outputs they're running on the brand new trucks. But this particular body style and powertrain combination has always really done it for me. It's really been the 7.3 Power Stroke in the OBS body style that I've always loved and have wanted to own. When I originally bought this truck, I wasn't actually looking for a truck like this, a diesel, an older 3/4 ton, but I saw this deal pop up on Marketplace and I literally could not pass it up. It was way too good to be true. It was less than an hour away from where I live and way under the value of what this truck is. And because I'm driving it right now, you kind of get the sense of it's a running, driving truck.
But that's actually not true. This clip of me driving was recorded in the future, and the truck actually doesn't start right now. I think it's the batteries to blame, but we're going to have to go investigate and figure it out.
Well, all right. Huh. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, that makes sense now. Other side. Can't tell. That does not look good. Well, I just broke the stud that connects the battery terminal clamps into place. Battery number 1 out. These were made in 2020, by the way. So 6-year-old batteries. And number 2 out. Well, over here on the passenger side, this giant mess has definitely seen better days. The wires look okay. The negative battery terminal, this was the one that was giving me problems, it's not great. And then over here, this one, it's in pretty decent shape, good enough. But this positive terminal on the driver's side, this one had the most corrosion, and it's also eating into the battery cable. Not great. Not great. Okay, after I got the new batteries in place, upon further inspection looking at the passenger side terminals, I think I can just clean these off really well. Mainly because I really don't want to replace this one because there is no extra room to cut these wires from to add a new terminal in. So I'd have to undo all of these connections and redo them right here. Not what I want to do. This is also fine for now. The driver's side, the negative terminal's fine, but it's really just this positive terminal that's in such rough shape, including the stud that I snapped. So I think I'm going to get away with just replacing this terminal since I have plenty of extra lead to be able to cut and splice a new end on. I think that's the plan. So here's how I'm going to do this. Start by unwrapping all of this junk, and then you can get a much better look at how bad and corroded this positive terminal is. It's in really rough shape. Pull some of this loom back. It looks pretty good going down, so I'm just going to cut it right here where it makes the most sense, right below the corrosion. And that still gives me plenty of room in order to splice the new terminal on. Yeah, that looks pretty good. There's a little bit of corrosion in there still, but I will be able to clean all this up once we're done. Now I'm going to take this to the store with me and figure out how to upgrade these, I guess, because I'm not soldering these in place. Okay, after a trip to 3 or 4 different stores, here's what I was able to come up with. I wasn't able to find the correct factory style lead solder battery terminals, so I found these. These are the style where you bolt on to a wire lug. Goes on the end of a wire, has a hole in it. Well, these factory wires on the 7.3 liter Power Stroke, these are 1/0 gauge, meaning that these were super fucking hard to find. I did find one. However, the hole that these go to is a 1/2 inch hole in the center. These studs are much, much smaller than 1/2 inch, so there's a lot of play. So I also picked up just a random set of washers to try and put it together and make it work. So we're going to start by stripping off roughly how much wire we need to be able to fit all the way into the end of the stud. There we go. So once you have a good amount of wire exposed, you can take the lug, throw it onto the end. Ooh, that's a nice fit. It should pretty much bottom out the lug but not be touching the insulation. And we got it pretty good on the first try. So you're supposed to use a specific type of crimp tool in order to crimp this connection closed. I don't have one, and I don't have the patience to buy one off of Amazon and wait for it to get here. So we are going to make it work. My goal is to be able to get this, crimp it down good enough to get it to hold, and see what happens. I can always redo this connection in the future if I need to. Okay, it's not bad. I'm not super happy with how it turned out, especially crimping up towards the top of the connection. So what I'm gonna do is grab a hammer, use it as a back and another hammer, and whack the crap out of it and see what happens. So you can see that actually made a pretty solid connection. I'm fairly happy with that. This thing certainly isn't going anywhere immediately. Is there a good chance that this will wear out over time and eventually start sliding off? Yeah, 100%. But it should be good enough to get us back on the road right now. All right, let's get this battery up in here. Try and throw the new terminal on and see how it all fits together. Negative terminal fits fine. Now, put the positive terminal together. I think it should work pretty well, honestly. Just a little persuasion. Oh yeah, I think this will work very well. Now, with the washer set that I bought, we got to figure out what combination of washers is going to best suit the size lug that we have. And I think it might actually be a step. And I know that this is definitely not the most secure, but I think something like that, where we get full contact with the wing nut and full contact with the lug itself. So I think this is going to be my little washer stack that I'm going to use. So I'm going to leave that there while we get the other battery terminal set up. So on the passenger side, I was taking a closer look at this negative terminal, and I was thinking it is pretty chewed up. The locking bolt that actually goes through is completely rusted, and it's also totally worn out the backside of the terminal. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and replace this too. All of the battery terminals and lugs that I bought came in sets of 2 anyway, so I think it will make easy work, and that only took a few minutes on the other side. So step number 1, cut your wire. Perfect. Step number 2, with whatever sized lug that you have, measure roughly where you want to cut to get full penetration with the exposed wire. Somewhere around there. Make your cut that you just measured. Good enough. Nice and clean. Yeah, those look pretty good. Then we'll go ahead and grab our lug, throw the wires in, do our first clamp. I'm going to try and throw a little bit more tension towards the end of the wires than I did the first time, just to get that in place. Then I'm actually really happy with the way that the hammer method turned out. I'm going to do it again. All right, that made a pretty solid connection again. I'm happy with it. Again, this is not a permanent solution. I'm not going to run this on the truck forever, but for something that cost me about $20 and I did in an hour, I think it's a good enough fix, because these other terminals at some point also have to go. But let's get the second battery up in here. Battery number 2 going back in. Oh, gotta love having to spend $400 in batteries anytime you need to replace them. Oh, one of the joys of a diesel. Battery terminal number 2. All right, there we go. Good connection. Throw the terminal on, washer number 1, washer number 2, lock washer on top, because even though this is bad, it's not that bad. Throw the wing nut on and see how we're looking. There we go. That really does look like a very solid connection, and I feel confident that it is probably going to work. Now let's get the positive terminal cleaned up, some of this junk off, hook it back up together and see if it starts. All right, that's nice and tight. Flip that back over. You can't tell how ugly it is. And then before I forget, I will put my plastic intake just back on very briefly. Let's go get the keys and see if it works. Okay, moment of truth. That's a good sign. Oh yeah. Sweet, got it done.
Now that we have the battery issue fixed, let's go ahead and get back to the drive.
71,000 miles on it, which isn't really that bad, especially considering that the last owner that I bought it from owned it since 2001, and he bought it at around 50,000 miles. So he's put over 200,000 miles on this truck just by himself, and he has done all of the maintenance on it and has extensive service records. Now, because I'm the one that bought it, that means that there is some issues with it. I am certainly not one that's going to buy a truck like this in perfect, pristine condition. Really, There's three main things. So the first thing that's wrong with it, it's got a really bad oil leak. Pretty much every 100-ish miles or so, I have to put a whole new quart in it. But really what that means is I just don't have to change the oil. Good enough. Now that oil leak definitely needs to be fixed. It's pretty bad. I can't park in my own driveway, otherwise my wife would kill me. And so I got to keep this thing parked out on the road, which isn't really where I want to keep it. So oil leak needs to be addressed, not a huge deal. A lot of the problems with this truck aren't huge deals. They just are small things that really need to be addressed. The second thing, which is definitely the most noticeable while you're driving, is a very hard 1 to 2 upshift. It's the only shift in the transmission that is hard or weird. My second to third and third to fourth shifts are fine, and all of my downshifts are fine. But if I'm from a stoplight and just cruising into second gear, it will wait, throw the RPMs way high, and shift really hard. If you have any other experience with these trucks and have came across a similar situation with similar symptoms, let me know what you found. The other weird thing about the transmission is that when I'm really hard on the throttle or accelerating up a steep grade and there's a lot of load on the truck, it shifts buttery smooth. So it's really just when there's a little amount of load on the transmission, that 1 to 2 upshift is very hard. And the third thing about the truck, it's in good shape, but it's not perfect. Now, I've never owned a perfect truck, so I didn't expect this one to be perfect, and I knew the condition that it was in when I bought it. But the paint isn't great. This thing was parked under a tree for the last couple of years and hasn't really moved a whole bunch. And so there's tree sap all over the hood, the fenders, and the roof of the truck. But there was no major frame or body rust, which is definitely the biggest concern that I had going into seeing this truck, because I went to go see it when I had 4 horrible pictures available to me. So I really did not get a good sense of the condition. I just absolutely could not pass up the price of this thing. So I went to go see it, and thankfully there was very minimal surface rust on the frame and little to no rust on the body. There is a little bit here and there. It's definitely manageable, definitely repairable. And honestly, this truck is a great candidate for a whole new paint job at some point. In my eyes, by far one of the biggest benefits of this truck in particular is that it was just a 2-owner truck, and the second owner owned it for so incredibly long. This thing is 100% stock. It has the stock tire setup, it has the stock suspension, it has the stock exhaust, the stock intake. Everything on this is completely stock. It even has the stock head unit, which also doesn't work right now, but that's probably going to be going at some point anyway. So other than those main things, there are just a bunch of very little small things wrong with this truck that are a bit of a headache and that I would like to fix. And that's really the main reason for me starting this channel and making this video and starting this series, is so that I have a good opportunity to be able to work on this truck and bring everybody along on the journey with me. I think there's a lot to learn from this truck. I'm really excited to get to work on a Power Stroke. It's one of the first ever Fords I will really be tearing into as well, and I think it'll make for some really good videos. Other than that main stuff on the exterior, the interior is in okay shape. Really, it's what you would expect for a now almost 30-year-old pickup truck that was definitely used as a work truck for a good majority of its life. The headliner in the back is peeling. The seats are in pretty decent shape. There's a few tears here and there. There are stains and junk everywhere. There's one main rip in the front dash cushion that comes on these trucks. But other than that, the door panels are solid. The dashboard itself is solid. Everything on the inside is pretty good. I am going to make another video in the future addressing a lot of the inside, but for today, I really want to focus on the exterior and seeing what is underneath all of this junk. The truck also drives amazingly. It is dead straight going down the road. The brakes are fantastic. There's no weird acceleration issues other than what's already wrong with the transmission. So what are my plans for this truck? Well, really, other than just fixing everything that's already wrong with it, I don't want to take it too far. I want to clean it up, get it running and driving, get it in a really good spot, or this could be a dependable daily driver. It could be a tow rig. I could pull a camper with it, take my wife out to all the vacation spots she wants to go to, do things like that. In terms of the powertrain, I don't want to touch it a whole lot. I might want to go larger exhaust, new intake, help open up the motor, let it breathe a little bit better, add some horsepower, maybe a tune, but nothing crazy. I probably won't be tearing into the internals of anything other than to fix my transmission issue, and I'm totally fine with that. I also really like the OEM styling of these trucks. I think they look great, and I don't want to change that too much. I'm not going to do anything crazy with insane paint matching everything. I like the chrome. I might paint match a few things here or there. This truck is a great candidate for a full restoration. I'm just not the type of guy to take it that far. So if you have suggestions, directions I should take this truck, fixes I should make to it early on to avoid a headache down the road, please let me know. I'd love the chance to go through this truck with somebody who knows a little bit more about it than I do. All right, now I think it's time to pull this thing back in the driveway and get it clean. So I literally went inside just to take a drink. I just parked. Oh, that's not good. I know that in the back is water off the AC condenser, but all of that is oil, and I've been in the driveway for a few minutes. I need to hurry up and wash this thing and get it out of here. Let's just do that for now. All right, so the first thing I want to do before I actually start cleaning this is get some of these trim pieces off, specifically all the chrome molding around the fenders and this giant front wind dam that's on the hood. There is a bunch of crap between the hood and this wind dam. And I also want to try and take off what's left of these side moldings that were just stuck on here, my best guess, over 10 years ago. So let's do that now. It looks like it's a Phillips screwdriver to get everything off. Oh, wow. Nice, really nice. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely some paint chipping off the front of the hood, but none of this looks like it's actually bad rust. Let me just, good enough. Now let's go take off the chrome moldings. Trying really hard not to strip this one. These things are in there tight. Oh boy. All right. Before I get myself into trouble, let me try something different. So I went ahead and grabbed a 1/4-inch socket and thrown it on my 3/8 ratchet. And then I can just grab the right size tip that'll fit into these. And then this will give me a lot more torque that I can put directly on this screw because I'm able to use the ratchet with it. Well, I hardly believe it, but while trying to get that screw out, I broke my bit. That thing is really in there. Okay, one fender. And man, you can really see how much gunk got built up in this thing. Pretty rough. The metal underneath looks okay. The paint, not so much. We'll take a closer look later. You can really see how nasty that is. All in there. Now, number one, done. Well, after unsuccessfully trying to get off the back screws that hold the rear fender on, I'm going to try and get out as many ones as I can, and the ones that I can't, I'm taking a drill to and drilling them out because I don't want to be here for an hour taking off screws. It is now 3 hours later. I have broken one drill bit straight in half. I have completely ruined another two. I had to take the front passenger side wheel off, and I currently have the truck in the air on a jack. This one front screw I cannot get off, so I made a trip all the way into the city to get these. This is an impact screwdriver from Harbor Freight. We're going to see how well it works for the screws that are holding on the rear trim pieces. And then this is also a screw extractor set. I don't know what these screws are made out of, but the fact that they have torn through 3 of my drill bits, and this is all I have to show for it, means that we are going to see how well this extractor works. Okay, I know this isn't really the best angle to see what's going on, but I have high faith that these extractors will pull this worn out screw straight out. Well, here I am, almost another hour and a half later. The bolt extractor set didn't do anything. I think in part because I just didn't have enough surface area for the extractors to grip onto, meaning that I couldn't actually use them to back the screw out. And so I resorted to using an angle grinder, and I just ground the whole head of the thing off. I was able to stay away from the underside of the trim pretty well, and so I didn't screw that up. And really, I just wanted to do this to get a better look at this side of the fender, see if there were any starting rust spots. I was also able to use the impact driver to be able to get the rear passenger fender off actually fairly easily. I started there, and then for the driver rear, I have used every single trick that I can think of, and I cannot get one single screw out. I broke the tip off of the impact driver that is meant for these size Phillips, and so I think I'm going to leave it, especially considering what the back on the passenger side looks like. I was really concerned about that dirt getting in there and forming any rust, and as you can see on this side, it's pretty good for the most part. So honestly, I'm not going to worry about it that much. The fronts, they're also pretty good. I do want to give them a good clean. Here's the passenger after finally getting it off in halfway decent shape. And then the driver. The spot I was most concerned about, right here and right there, they look pretty good. They're definitely benign, just some small paint chips. That I am not touching. I'm not going to worry about it. So let me get all this put away, get the wheel back on, and then finally be able to wash this thing. Click, click, click. You get the idea. It's that simple. Finally, 6 hours later, after I wanted to give it a bath, finally time to give it a bath.
This is the most time I've spent with this truck, and I just can't help myself along the way from thinking about all the things that I'm going to be able to do with it, and how inevitably this will just snowball into something so much more than I'm planning. Now that we have this thing cleaned, we can really take a look at what was going on underneath, and you can just see the crazy difference between the faded and unfaded paint on the hood, as well as some of those starting rust spots I'll have to address at some point. But overall, man, these trucks just look so killer. And all that junk that came off of the hood and the roof came off pretty well. I definitely had a hard time trying to scrape everything off, but overall, I'm really happy with this outcome. It cleaned up great. There's still a bunch of things I need to address on this, but for the most part, I'm happy with it.
All right, so I spent a little bit longer giving the truck another good once over, and there's a lot of stuff that I need to address, especially moving forward. So I guess I'll save that for next time because I'm running out of sunlight and I'm tired and have to go to work in the morning. Make sure to follow along for the future because I should be making a whole bunch of more videos on this truck and hopefully other projects that I get myself way too deep into. And remember, you're not a real mechanic if you can't do a job that only takes 2 hours in 6.